Yo, yo, DD here. Time for some mega micro mini reviews. The reading list has been plowed through and I have stacks of books. Giving you the rundown. The purpose is give you a quick rundown. Maybe there's a book you're not sure about, you're kind of on the fence. Maybe there's something you don't know about. Maybe this is a good intro for you for something. And participation is highly encouraged because I learn from you guys a lot. And it's always a pleasure to learn new things and make new friends. And the comic book community is one of the strongest out there. So we have King Spawn 48. You know, I'm always curious about additional script with McFarlane, but he is the Todd father. King Spawn is what it is. It delivers. The story's good. It's horror related, of course, with it being Spawn. But this particular issue here, you are introduced to an area. It's like a purgatory, and the people in this situation are, there's one person that's been there a while. They are saying that Spawn is the one that puts them there and has them relive horrible moments. But I'm not so sure if it is Spawn. You're giving a little, yeah. So the artwork, on track. So if you're into horror, gory artwork, it's there on display. So it's worthy to check out if you're into that. If you're not into horror, you're not going to like it. But if you're just a hardcore Spawn fan, man, you got to get that. His universe is expanding more. Some of the titles, I don't know. If you're into some of the newer titles, let me know. You know I'll check it out. Next up, we have World Tree, a classic for me. I'll continue reading this to the end. Tiny N is doing it is an incredible job. If you're into apocalyptic, techno, cyberpunk type tales, this one is right up your alley. And it delivers. The artwork is more of a basic, I don't want to say cartoonish, but Fernando Blanco is doing an excellent job creating the tone that the book is delivering. And this issue here, you are getting more there in the future now, and you're getting a glimpse of survival after a post-apocalyptic incident with what they call the Undernet. And what is the Undernet? It is a force of evil, and if you watch it, you will do evil things. It's a great read. You can jump on anywhere, I believe. But man, just start over. There's tons of variant covers that deliver as well. That's a must-have. Void Rivals. I was in the comic shop. This is a reprint. Can't remember what it is, but they've gone into some serious reprints. Matt, I said, hey man, hook me up with something. He always delivers the goods. He's my dealer, my comic book dealer, as a matter of fact. He got me hooked on Hyde Street, and it is crack. This cover here is fantastic. Love the detail. But this issue, it is the first, and you're introduced to two characters that are rivals. It really reminded me of the old movie Enemy Mine. It had some flavor from that, but so you're just introduced to these two. They do find a Autobot, and I'm not sure how that's connected, but it's really not resonating with your boy as hard as I thought it would. But if you're into the Energon universe, I would jump in. If you're hardcore, like that whole Energon, G.I. Joe, Transformers, I will say this, it is a fresh take. So you're getting a fresh offering, and it's different. And different can be good. So we got Spawn 367. This is a go-to for me. I do like the artwork. Brett Booth delivers some it's very impactful. It has some McFarlane hints to it. You know he was reading that. Todd McFarlane kicking the script. This is a good read. This is actually, you're not introduced. This character oh man, it was like 3 or 4 issues ago. It kicks off where he's just gigantic and they whittle him down, but it's what's cool about McFarlane's writing is that's what that thing wanted. So you think they're winning, but they're really playing into the antagonist's plan. And another thing I'm enjoying is these characters that are really more, it would be like your mainstream characters, like, I don't know, man, like the Flash. They have a speedster in here and they have other characters. So you're getting introduced to more action by these Spawn universe characters, which I think is really cool. Like I said, the artwork, it's on point. Like, I love Cygor. Brett Booth is good. He's really good. But this issue in particular, you're just engaged in more of this battle. And it's really Nyx, if you're into the series. She is on the throne of hell, and that whole writing and series was great. So now there's just more conflict with that character, with the position that she's in. And this guy right here, you see a lot by him. You see where his power is at in this issue. I believe he was introduced in, maybe in Gunslinger. I can't remember, but yeah. Love it. Yeah, but if you're an ongoing Spawn fan, definitely you got to get it. And even if you're not, McFarlane, he always offers the action, a great script, a lot of mystery. But you know, a lot of people, they may not be into that. They may be into something else, like drama, which segues perfectly into Garth Ennis's The War. #1, I am enjoying this. Garth Ennis, of course, writing. Becky Cloonan doing the pencils. The artwork, which is usually on par with Garth Ennis, is his writing can really take the art up a notch. And I'm not saying this is bad art. It lends well with the tone of the book, and it conveys the message properly. You know what I'm saying? So what we're dealing with here is you have a group of characters that the world is close to nuclear war. It's one of those scenarios, but you're getting more dialogue, more thinking. Like, you know, sure, it's a conversation we've all had that's in this book. It's like, surely they won't do that. There's no way they would do it. And this book gets you to a point where it was done to, I believe, 2 cities. Yeah, and this guy finds out. You also get a helping of social media in an instance like this. And I mean, yeah, look, it's good art. The story is just, you can feel the tension. You can feel the pressure that these couples are going through. And you get some flip-flop on some characters where they start out with one tone and then they totally change. Yeah, but the whole premise is, what would you really do? What would happen if the ultimate evil was unleashed upon our world? And this lady, the characters are great. She is carrying child, so it's, I mean, you are in a whole different mind space with that. If you're in the dramas that lean on the apocalypse and how people react, and you go in depth into their emotions, this is a read for you. I will totally finish this out because it's one of those where you read it and when you're done, you're like, I got to have the next issue. I was in the shop today. I thought maybe it'd be out, but I have to wait. And you know, that can be a good thing. The anticipation for a delivering, it's always good. All right, speaking of new, highly recommend it. I know I say that about a lot of books, but it's like this one, there's better than, there's less than, there's different than, and this sucker hits different than hard. Went ahead, got 2 covers for issue 2 because I bought issue 1 online. No, I bought this at the comic shop. Totally fell in love with it. And then I went back and grabbed issue 2, but issue 2 was a variant cover, which I don't care. I had to have it. I had to read this thing. And I have issue 2, the A cover, which is fantastic. So it's all black and white, but it's really conveying of the emotions in the black and white that has me hyped up. It is a story of the military. It's a very common story. The military run a test, it goes south and turns the test subjects into, I don't want to say zombies. I think they're more like, more like the 24 days, 28 days later type zombie, the rage zombie. Maybe the rage zombie, but slower. But to get down to the nitty gritty, like it is mostly silhouettes, a high use of negative space, and the black and white, it's just brilliant. The artwork is brilliant. It's beautiful. I mean, look at that. Bam. So you get a lot of this. This is what I'm talking about, the artwork. And you can tell who is who by their silhouette in a lot of this. And we'll give you some of the issue 2 as well. And you do have close-ups. So when you're getting close-ups, it's still really obscure, black and white. That's why it's so, and then right there, you can see they just give you enough. It's kind of like the movie Alien when it first came out. There was a lot of, well, they didn't want to show the alien, so your mind would fill in the blanks and create it itself. This lends to a lot of that. So if you're an old school horror fan, or you're just into black and white, or the decision tree grows. If you're into something different, this is highly different. And it makes me want, they even put a letter at the end of issue 2, gives you a little more insight. And there's also I'm not a huge fan of stuff like this, but sometimes they give you little clues and niblets of what's going on. So, News from the Fallout, I believe it's just a 3-issue story. Maybe. I could be wrong. But, totally dig it. So there's your independent mega micro reviews. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope there's something you're going to get into. And if there's something you could recommend me, I highly would love that. Totally into it. And out.